Awesome.
Jesus Christ.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, it's on there. I didn't get an alert yet, but there it is. Right. How do I go to my profile? I guess I don't have to say anything anymore. Oh yeah. I should say something here.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Hey, welcome to the stream.
Hey everybody. Oh, that's right. I forgot we were live. I turned it live and then I saw an email from my accountant and totally got distracted.
Of course.
I was in pre-show mode.
Yeah. That's good.
Or pre-live mode, I should say. Yeah.
All right, great. Now, okay, this week, risk aversion and tells of success. All right, sweet. Terrific. Yeah, so if you're just joining us, we're getting ready to go start recording Business Brain. We record 2 episodes here, one of which will air tomorrow on the 16th, and then the other one will air on Friday. And we're going to talk about a couple of different topics. We're going to talk about risk aversion, and then we're going to talk about tells of successful people, a Girdley topic that he brought up. And I'm glad you're here along for the ride.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great. Last week's high number was 403 watching the stream.
Yep.
Or the live stream. So let's see if we can break that number. We're at 65 right now. We haven't started. So I'm optimistic it's going to happen. I think we'll hit 500 today. That's my prediction. So
we might.
Find out. Yeah, I think so. I think we can do it. These are good. These are good topics. Everybody will tell their friends to we're almost at 100 right now, and we haven't started the show. So that's pretty good. I am happy to do it. So anytime, who's sponsoring the show this week, Dave?
It is Shopify.
Oh, I love Shopify.
Same.
Of the greatest tools against the fight against Amazon. And I don't mean that. I love Amazon.
No, I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
They're not, if you're an entrepreneur, Amazon wants your business, but they're not your friend. That's for sure. So, and I will post that I'm not going to post that, but I'm going to post. Here we go. I'm going to add another post. Thanks to Shopify. Shopify for sponsoring Business Brain this week. All right. What is there at Shopify? Is it just at Shopify? Oh, yeah. Oh, there's another account called Shopify Rebellion. I don't know what that means. Okay, maybe they're.
Shopify Rebellion. Yeah, no, okay. Yeah. It's all good.
Maybe that's a Shopify Rebellion against Amazon. That's what I would think.
Oh, could be.
Could be. All right, I am. I'm ready. Whenever you. Okay, great.
Too.
Got the Girdley thing up. That's perfect.
And this week is sponsored by Shopify. I might as well put that in there too.
Stretch.
Right?
Right. Great.
About what they're offering. Brilliant. Okay.
Excellent.
Post. Love it.
Oh, I gotta like yours too. There we go. Let's go. Okay. Awesome. All right. There's 145 of you watching in from X, and we're going to start here in just a moment. And that's great. That's awesome.
Yep.
First, we got a great, interesting intro topic about a piece of software that Dave says he cannot live without. I don't use it, so it's going to be interesting.
I want to have this conversation with you and with everybody, but we'll start recording first, shall we?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let me get that rolling. Here we go. Business Brain, episode 590 for Wednesday, October 16th, Global Cat Day 2024. Greetings, folks, and welcome to Business Brain, the show where we take a few topics, we mix them up, we dissect them, we analyze them, we use them to tune our business brains every single time we get together. This episode is sponsored by Shopify.com/businessbrain. That's where you get to go and sign up for your $1 per month trial. We'll talk more about that in a little bit, including how Shopify is helping me. For now, here in Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Dave Hamilton.
And I'm still out here in Lafayette, California. I'm Shannon Jean. I'm happy to announce the wedding season is over. After
for you.
Yeah, for me. After my daughter got married a couple weeks ago out in New York, and then we had the West Coast wedding reception this weekend, and it was awesome, wonderful, magical, but also exhausting at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
As you can imagine. But
weddings are crazy. I wind up
yeah.
I played in a band for a long time. I played in a wedding band for a while, and they're exhausting for everyone involved.
I think so.
Like it's, you know, a lot. Like if I play a club gig, I'll get there 2 hours before we start playing, and that's just so I can like chill and have a beer and maybe a burger or something. With a wedding, if we play at 8, I usually have to be there by about 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Is that right?
Well, because we need to be set up, sound checked, and out of that room before any, and then usually one of the, or more, maybe two of the band members play like the actual, like the wedding itself. They might play, you know, whatever, somebody's walking down the aisle. Then there's cocktail music, which is usually like, you know, low volume stuff that maybe one or two band members do. And the rest of us are just kind of sitting around.
Wow.
Waiting to play.
Amazing.
Invariably, for those of you scheduling weddings, I will tell you this. If you plan for the band to play after dinner is finished.
Yes, when the dancing usually starts.
Great. Dancing after dinner. They always book us for 2 sets, and they say, you know, start at 8:45, and the venue has a hard cutoff at 11. So, okay, this is going to be great. Invariably, we start playing at about 20 of 10, and we play 1 set for the same amount of money that you paid us to play 2, because everything runs late, and you run against dinner is always late. I worked with one wedding planner, and the way she did things was as soon as people entered the reception hall, the band was playing pre-dinner. One or two of the speeches happened during this. And what it also meant was the band played until dinner was served. So dinner was never late.
Ah, that's pretty good.
Yes. It was a great flow to the evening. You had like a little bit of this party vibe going on.
That's nice.
Then people sat down and ate. And then after dinner, the band played another full set. And it was like, I said to her, the first time I saw this was, I was a guest at a wedding. And I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on? I ran down the wedding planner. I'm like, we need to talk. And she's like, oh, yeah, this is the way I've been doing it because it's so much better. Nothing ever feels like we're waiting for anything.
Yeah, that's perfect. I like it. I like it.
Yep.
But this is not a wedding show, believe it or not. And so we're talking. So you have a tool, Dave, that you've talked about before, and you use it. You can't live without it. I don't use it. I've talked about maybe using it, but give me the rundown on this tool.
So it's a tool called SaneBox, SANEBOX, and its primary sort of advertised purpose is that it will monitor your inbox, and it does.
Okay.
And take things in it that are not supposed to be like your priority and put them in other sort of sub mailboxes, right? So the one and you get to tune all of this 100% to your liking. So out of the box, you can turn on, say, what it'll call a Sane News box, where it'll take newsletters and move them out of your inbox into this newsletters box. And that's an amazing thing because being able to filter through newsletters when you're in newsletter mindset mode makes a huge, I actually read newsletters now.
I see.
Whereas
versus
if they're just in my inbox, I just delete them.
Yeah,
exactly. Allows me to compartmentalize and spotlight my time. And you can do this with anything. You don't have to use their prefabs. I have one that I call Sane Shipped, where everything from FedEx and UPS and DHL and USPS all goes into that. And then I can look, and it's not just in the normal flow of my day. So that part's great. And that's a feature that I like, but I
Right.
probably could live without. The feature that I can't live without is what they call sane reminders. And what sane reminders lets me do is when I'm sending an email to someone, like we have to reschedule someone on a interview that's coming up in a couple of weeks or 3 weeks or whatever. And I sent the email to this person and said, hey, can we reschedule? And then in the BCC, I put 1W for 1 week at sanebox.com. And what that's going to do is SaneBox is going to watch and see if this person replies to me. If they do, we're all good. If a week goes by and they have not replied, I get a note in my inbox at 3 a.m. on the morning of whatever it is, a week from today, whatever that's going to be, reminding me that I'm waiting to hear from this person.
So you can follow up.
So I can choose to follow up, or I can say, nah, you know what? This thing's still 2 weeks out. I can snooze that for 3 days, or I can snooze it for a week. And I have these reminders now. They show up every morning in my box. If you're in sales, which I think everybody is at some level, even if you think you're not, you probably still are, send out a proposal. Okay, great. Or, with the podcast, if somebody's interested in something, like we're way down the path, they're like, I want these 3 dates. I say, great, I've held those dates for you. I send them that email, but I mark it with a 3-day reminder. And I can set the reminders, as I said with this other one, to monitor whether someone has replied. And if they have, the reminder expires. Or I could say like 3 days .keep. And then no matter how many responses, I still get it because I want to know. I reserved those dates for you. I don't want to keep them held if you're not going to buy them. That kind of thing.
Yeah. And now am I right? They've sponsored this show before? Haven't they sponsored in the past?
I think so. I think they've sponsored us in the past.
It's been a while, but okay.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So does it work with any email?
Yeah.
Does it work with Gmail? It works with Apple, whatever you're doing? Okay.
Yeah, it'll just log in as another client. Like you have to give them access to your inbox. So that's a huge caveat for some people, obviously. But for me, it's I trust them. I choose to trust them.
Yeah, and what's the price? What's the annual cost?
I think it's about a couple $100 a year. Is what it costs me. But,
interesting.
I mean, so my question is, I know that everyone who is in sales or running a business, which is sales, needs to have some way of reminding yourself to follow up. I use SaneBox to do it. I'm curious, what do you use, Shannon? Folks out, and I want Shannon to answer, but I want to ask everyone, what do you use? feedback@businessbrain.show.
Yeah, I mean, I do snooze messages a lot, but I also I will, if I'm in email mode, I typically deal with it right then. But if I sent out an invite, what did I do? I'd put it on my calendar and I set an alert and I'd handle it that way.
Got it.
Yeah, I think I'd handle it that way. And I use my reminders, app all the time. Remind me to follow up with this person. Remind me to follow up with that person. But I mean, I like this concept of
it's low friction because having to set a reminder or a calendar event, I won't do it for every single thing that I would want to. Yeah. Whereas with sane reminders, it's like I'm right there in the email. I just add it to a BCC and I'm done.
I like that. I think it's great. It's a good idea. I'm curious about it. I'll have to dig in a little deeper.
I'm curious how others solve this problem if you're not using SaneBox. So
for sure.
But I'll put a link to SaneBox in the show notes in case you heard this and you're like, oh my God, I have to use that. And So
please do so. I want to do it. I'm going to take a look at it right now.
All right. Well, I want to talk about our sponsor for today, which is Shopify. I use Shopify with one of my other businesses, Shannon. And, before we started using Shopify, we weren't effective at selling all the stuff that we sell. We were trying to do it piecemeal, and then we brought in Shopify, and it made life so much easier. I can sell to anyone, anywhere. They took all of the headache away, and I can't imagine doing what we do. We're selling merch mostly at this other business with Shopify, fans of the business and this sort of thing. And it makes it so easy. We can sell anywhere in the world to people, and it just works. We had tried some other things, and it's just not the same. You've used Shopify too,
Yeah,
right?
I love it. I love the fact that they build you one account that you can use across all kinds of multiple vendors, which saves me time when I'm buying and helps my customers buy more from me because they don't have to create a different account at every store that uses Shopify. It's huge. It's simple to set up. It's fast. And I love it as an alternative. I'm a huge Amazon customer. I buy a lot from them, but I've also been a seller, and I know that it's great to have an alternative for your business than just selling on one marketplace, whether it's eBay, Amazon, or whatever. So have your own Shopify store is great.
I'm definitely going to have to cut that out. We cannot say the
alternative,
the competitors' names.
Yeah. You never know. You got to give me those cues before we start.
Yeah, I wasn't sure
normally
how far
we
you were
record.
Gonna go.
Yeah, normally Dave records these before we do the show. So now
we're just going to do it again.
Afterwards.
We're gonna do the ad again right now. It's totally fine.
Do it.
Yep.
Do it.
What am I doing here? Why is this not working? There we go. Okay. Actually, no. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to go in. I'm going to cut out part of what you said.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Just do that.
All right, give me a second to wrap this then.
Yeah.
I love it. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/businessbrain. And that's all lowercase. So go to shopify.com/businessbrain to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/businessbrain. And our thanks to Shopify for sponsoring this episode. All right, Shannon. So
awesome.
You want to talk about risk aversion?
Yeah. I read a lot. I see a lot of entrepreneurs. People want to grow businesses, look for outside funding, and I recently, I've seen a lot of, I don't want to call them excuses, but comments that I think are masking one thing, and it's being it's risk aversion in a sense. Like, for example, I don't have enough money to go start and do this. But that's, money is pretty easy to come by using different methods. If you want to sell on eBay will give you funding. If you want to use PayPal, they will help you with funding. If you want to use your credit cards, you can do that. You can get a HELOC on your house. You can on and on and on and on and on. There's
money is available. It's not always cheap. It's slowly getting cheaper right now. Right.
Yeah, it is getting cheaper. Cabbage is another service that you can borrow funds from.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they're expensive, but to get started, you may just have to pay. The key is getting started, not so focused on, I got to be profitable on day one. You got to build a system. So I also hear I don't want to do that because I don't want to sign a personal guarantee. Well, I'm here to tell you that if you don't want to sign a personal guarantee, why does the bank or why do these companies want to loan you money if you're not willing to take a risk and have your skin in the game? The personal guarantee is what I've used my whole life to get companies and banks to loan me money and finance deals.
Yeah, if you don't think that you're giving your business a personal guarantee, what do you think's happening with your time that you're spending in your business, right?
Yeah.
You're investing your time in your business when you could otherwise be, earning a paycheck or dollars per hour doing something for someone else. You're investing in it too. It's already happening. Yeah,
and you could continue to take this down. It's like people that don't want to hire help, right? Or I can't afford to hire someone. Well, what's your time worth? Are you really think about that framework? Is it that you can't afford it, or is that you don't want to take the risk? You don't want to put the effort and get someone, whether it's a person locally or globally that you're going to hire. All of it is, I think, based on your risk and what your risk profile is. And if you have an aversion to really taking risk, I think there's some steps to get over that. And much of it is just starting small and taking those small risks. And, it was a risk for me to want to do this show when we first started, because I was so nervous about talking. It was a risk when we started doing video, because I was like, no, I don't want to sit there and do that and this is that. Because really, it wasn't that I didn't want to do it, is I was uncomfortable doing it, right? So,
well, you were, it was different. You had no experience with it, right? And so I think there's a lot of that risk aversion manifests as, well, I'm afraid of failing.
Fear. Yeah.
Yes,
that's right.
because I've never tried it before. And it's like, well, of course. But, there was a point in time where you didn't know how to walk either.
Correct.
And
We all
most
suck at the
people are
beginning.
able to do that. I mean, obviously there's some people who can't. But like all of these things, talking, just simply talking, we couldn't do that either. Like we learn by doing things and failing at them.
That's right.
So
I heard a quote was, have the courage to suck at something new. And it's huge, because you're not going to be good at it in the beginning, but you'll figure it out. And stacking up these little small wins, small successes, that'll help get over this risk aversion problem, which I think is inherent in so many decisions that we make. One of the questions I get a lot from people that are learning about buying liquidation products, which, stuff I've done for my whole career, is, well, where do you store it all? I said, well, you get a space, and you rent a warehouse and
start with your basement, your garage, and your spare bedroom.
Yeah, start there. And it's like, okay, well, that stuff's too big. It's like, okay, well, then maybe you have to get a storage unit. It's like, oh, wow, that could be expensive. Well, okay, well, it's
just a cost of doing business.
It's just a cost. It's just a cost. Yeah. And if you're like, well, they want me to sign a year lease. Well, are you not willing to put a year into this? Ask yourself that. That is the real question, because everything takes a year. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Just the way it works. If you think you're going to get something going in 2 months or 3-4 months, and that's all you want to risk, I'm here to tell you it's not going to happen. You have to put in the time and the effort and build up the systems over time that will make you successful. Take the risk, and you'll be the better for it. There's no doubt about it.
Well, and being willing to take risks is a competitive advantage. Think about this, right? In the example you just described, and this could be any business, but the person noticed in themselves, right, or you noticed in them, that, which is this fictitious example, although I'm sure there's real world examples of it, that they didn't want to sign this 1-year lease, right? Well, the person who is willing to sign that 1-year lease now has a competitive advantage over the people who weren't willing to sign that lease, because they now have the space to store more things than the person who's only limiting themselves to the garage. And this is one of those things, I say it all the time, mostly about myself, that the only person that stands in between me and more success is me.
Absolutely.
I do not worry about competition. In fact, I like sitting down and talking with my competition because I learn things from them and I get inspired. When I'm talking to somebody and they're like, oh, yeah, well, we're doing this and this and this, it's like, crap, I need to be doing this and this and this. And it frees me up. I'm like, okay, great. I'll go do this and this and this. But I could have done it before I talked to them. It's not like I didn't know about these things. You sometimes need a little push. Let that be your push, and your business will grow.
Absolutely. That's a better title for this episode. Risk is a competitive advantage. Because it is.
Oh, it is. Yes.
It is. And if, think about it in all aspects of your life. You could flip it on the other. Let's flip it another way.
Okay.
Think about breaking rules. Like if you're a rule follower, I think it's much harder to be an entrepreneur. Okay. Because you're constantly going to be pushed to kind of break the quote rules. There's unwritten
we're not talking
rules
about breaking the law.
No.
We're talking about breaking just the society rules of these are the things that you do, the norms.
Pushing some boundaries, Getting comfortable asking for forgiveness instead of permission. We've done shows on. I think we recently did
Really,
an episode
just
on
getting
that.
comfortable asking.
Yeah, that's right. And so, think about the people, these companies that broke rules. Think about like Airbnb, right?
Yeah.
Whoever would think you would just rent out a room in your house to some stranger, right? Think about Uber. Who would think that you would just rent your own car out and show up and pick people up, or you'd get some, stranger at your house to go. So, companies and industries are founded on breaking rules. So think about, I think it's an opportunity. What rules can you break to create your business? And how is it different than what everyone else is doing? There's a great follow, and I'll have to dig the link up for the show notes on X that her name's Lessa, and she focuses on using GIFs to be successful, either on social media or is it GIFs? I don't know. Social media or in your market, in your marketing material, all this stuff, just to stand out and be different. So, what rules can you break? How can you get over risk aversion and learn how, taking risks is a competitive advantage? I think it's huge. I think it's worth studying and researching and figuring it out, because I think it holds a lot of people back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
Steve White, who created the graphics interchange format at CompuServe in 1987, says it's pronounced GIF.
There you go.
So
like the peanut butter. That's
like
perfect.
the peanut butter. Yeah. It's not.
That's awesome.
It's not the
but
best peanut butter,
I'd
that's
love
okay.
to hear your take on risk. And, I know it's easy for me to say since I'm been through it and I'm a little older and I've done it, but what holds you back? Are we right here? Is it risk, or are there just rules you can't break to get ahead? Feedback at businessbrain.show. Let us know what you think. We'd love to talk with you.
Feedback at businessbrain.show, like he said, and let us know what you're using to track your reminders and that sort of thing. I really want to know. I want to know. Keep living that charmed life. We'll see you on Friday. Great.
Awesome.
I can't do anything with that one yet.
Yeah, I can cut that end out too if you want to send me the audio. So.
Yeah, I don't want them to bounce the ad. Really, it's fine. Just cut out any parts where you mention from wherever you mention Amazon.
Exactly.
To that.
I'll cut it out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So you just have to send me that one audio. I'll clip it and then dump it up to Auphonic.
Okay. Great.
Perfect.
Then I will.
See? Problem solving right there. Real time problem solving, folks. Yep.
Working together
my
too.
mouth that always gets us in
That's
trouble.
how it works.
So 467. So you could have yelled at me. Hey,
I could have given you the talking points.
That's true. Yeah.
You know,
I was waiting because I wasn't sure you wanted me to talk.
No,
and then
it
you
was
said
good.
you use it. So
Yeah.
I'm free-willing it. But I'm happy to say we broke our record from last week at 403. We're at 468.
Yeah, 468. I like it.
We want to get to 500 viewers on the stream this week, which I think we will get in the next episode. So now we're in between shows. Dave is prepping and spinning knobs and pushing buttons. And so once he gets that done, we're going to go record episode 591, which is going to air on Friday and the 18th. We're going to talk. We have a couple different topics, one of which we're going to talk about the tells of successful people, and with an interesting intro topic as well. So that's cool. But we've been doing this podcast for 10 years. Our 10-year anniversary will be in February, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct. February,
Yep.
I believe it's February 19th, because somehow that is also the day that GigGab launched its first episode.
That's great.
Which,
Much
I don't know
years
how
earlier,
that.
but yeah,
No,
that's cool.
No, literally, they started
GigGab.
on
That's
the
right. I was thinking
GigGab, not
GigGab.
Mac
Sorry.
GigGab.
Too many gabs.
I know, too many gabs. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you get for 10 years? What's 10-year anniversary? Is that
Well, that's a good question.
it's not gold. Gold is like 50, right? What's 10-year? I'll look it up while you're doing that.
Yeah.
10-year anniversary. Anniversary, is it symbol? That's it. Yeah. 10-year anniversary symbol. Tin or aluminum.
All right.
You think it might be a little bit? We could do something with that. That sounds
roof.
that sounds
Rusted.
affordable. Yeah, that sounds affordable. That's great. Very cool.
I was talking to a friend of
like
mine a couple of years ago, and he's a sound engineer. Currently is on the road, like mixing monitors for Natalie Merchant. So I mean,
awesome.
he works right. Yeah,
Yeah.
like he works in the industry, and he, where would this end? Maybe 11:28. I'll say. I was just talking to him once, and he was like, "Oh yeah," he's like, I engineered the recording of Love Shack. He's like, and I kind of
Wow.
produced the recording.
That's
and I'm like,
talk about a wedding
what?
staple. Yeah, yeah.
oh
that's
my
crazy.
gosh, like, dude, that's
cool.
that's part of the American songbook. Like,
Yeah.
like
That's
like,
paying some mortgages.
yeah. How did you never tell me this? He's like, well, it wasn't a big deal. I was
That's cool.
like, he was working just as kind of the grunt engineer at a studio in New York. I forget which one.
Yeah.
And he's like, and the producer didn't show up for the recording session, so I had to like produce it, and
Wow.
so I produced the session. I'm
That's
like,
cool.
dude, that's
like
freaking
it.
like, you should lead with that. That's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
good
yeah.
story. Like,
That is cool. We had a young man at
Sure.
My daughter's wedding that is a pyrotechnics concert guy. And we had recently seen Fall Out Boy. My wife loves them. I like them too. And the lead guitarist has a guitar that shoots fire.
okay,
And this young guy said, "Oh yeah, that's me. I did that. I created that thing. It was pretty cool.
so cool.
Amazing. All kinds of crazy ways to make money, make a living, and I love it. Unconventional.
yes.
I love it.
Yes.
It's just really the best.
Yes. So we'll do
I
the same thing for the upcoming Shopify
Yes.
ad, but just
And
don't
I
mention
won't
competitors
mention
by
those
name.
things.
That's all. That's
I will
all you
not.
need.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, perfect.
That's it.
I can say other places, other sites, other
That's that
marketplaces.
they like.
Yeah,
they just
perfect.
They just don't want.
Yeah, I get that.
for obvious reasons.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sounds great. I'm ready to go anytime you are.
I don't. Well, you have a login to Podman. You could see this creative, but really, that's the only instruction. That's it.
Okay, great.
That's it.
Perfect.
Yeah. Here. In fact, I'll send you. I'll read
Yeah,
the
I have
call
a
to
log.
action at the end. But
Great.
Here's the. I just sent it in Slack so that you
In
have it.
Slack, yeah, that sounds good. I'll take a look. there it
That's
is.
the ad. Super ad libbed.
Perfect. Oh yeah, great.
Yeah. Just please
Cool.
do
Well,
not.
if you want to ask me, I will answer, and I will just use
Yeah,
generic
happily.
terms.
We'll do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Sounds
And you don't
cool.
have to go very long. Like it's
Yeah.
they pay for 60 seconds. So
Perfect. That sounds great. We're 494.
Awesome.
We're six away from 500. When we hit 500, you're going to see me put my hands up like this in victory.
Okay.
And
All right.
next week we'll raise the bar and we'll go for 600.
600. That's
By,
it.
by the end of the year, we'll be talking for like 4 hours. we
1,000.
wait for 1,000.
That's right. We'll wait for 1,000. That's it. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Yeah, here we go. It's weird. Tomorrow is not only Global Cat Day, and that's worldwide, but it is also national, so United States, Feral Cat Day.
There is a day.
I want to know. There's a difference.
I like feral cats. They're pretty useful. But
yes.
yeah,
but
they're
not
very
inside
useful.
the house.
No, not in your house. Yeah.
All right.
It's-
Let's do this.
All right.
We'll see if I can get ahead of this here. Here we are. Business Brain episode. Oh, no. I got to get I got to put the
There
thing
you
up.
go.
I can't have it say between the episodes.
Yeah.
That would be terrible. Business Brain episode 591 for Casual Friday, October 18th, National Necktie Day 2024. Greetings, folks, and welcome to Business Brain, the show where we take some ideas, we dissect them, we compress them, we expand them, we analyze them, we use them to tune our business brains every single time we get together. Our sponsor for this episode is Shopify.com/businessbrain. That's where you can go to sign up for a $1 per month trial and upgrade your selling today. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. For now, here in Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Dave Hamilton.
And out here in sunny Northern California, I'm Shannon Jean. If you're watching the live stream, you saw me raise my arms in victory because we hit over 500 viewers of the live stream, which is awesome. It makes me very happy. And now I'll set the bar a little higher for next time.
That's right. It's
the way
never
I
a
work.
goal. Just the
I'm
system.
never satisfied. It's like a blessing and a curse, right? It's like, oh, we hit 500 today. What can we hit next week? We got to hit 6. It's great. I love it. I love it. Hey, I thought it was kind of interesting before we get into our regular topic is to talk about, Spirit Halloween.
I do.
You guys have those out there, right? They're
Oh,
nationwide.
absolutely. Of
Yeah,
course.
my kids,
Yeah.
we always used to go there. But now they're, I don't know why it took them so long, but they're actually going to stay open and switch the sign out front. And I guess the stuff they're selling inside, of course, then to be Spirit Christmas. And they'll be open during the Christmas holidays. And, I love this pop-up concept because we did last week about risk and talking about that, but it's a great to kind of couch your risk a little bit by trying a short time span, your short window store, retail space, pop up, try to sell things and see how the public responds to you. I love that idea. And I imagine when Spirit Christmas started, now I know they're owned by, I can't think of the name anymore, but they're much bigger and huge now. But I imagine at one time they started with just one store to see what would happen.
I mean, when Spirit Halloween started.
Spirit Halloween. Yeah. Thank you very much for correcting me there.
Welcome.
And I think they're owned by Spencer's now. But,
are they? Okay.
Yeah, I think so. And, they rented out a vacant place, so they didn't probably sign some long lease, and they just thought, well, let's bring in a bunch of Halloween stuff, see how it sells, and if it doesn't sell, we can try it again next year. And so I love it. And they've become a staple in they do jokes on Saturday Night Live about the Spirit Halloween store. And I saw it's interesting that they're expanding into Christmas, and I wonder, hopefully they'll do okay.
Yeah, they you're right, they are owned by Spencer Gifts. They are opening 10 Spirit Christmas stores. So they're doing an experiment.
There you go.
The first one opens the same day this episode was released on October 18th in Mays Landing, New Jersey. That will be the flagship one. So.
And it sounds like then they're not opening them in the same store. They're different.
It says that the pop-up chain will be a mixture of some converted Spirit Halloween stores and new locations. And
I see.
Presumably, since they're doing this on October 18th, you wouldn't close the Spirit Halloween store on October in any day of the month of October. Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah,
so
I love the concept, and that place kind of freaks me out. Some of the gory, nasty stuff they have in there, but it's wildly successful, and I couldn't keep my kids out of it.
Over 1,500 stores this year in the U.S. and Canada. They opened Spirit Halloween.
Yeah. I always remind people, all these huge companies, most of them were small businesses when they started. So
it's true. Yeah, most of them were. Yeah, absolutely.
Most of them were. That's awesome. Very cool.
Your small business can start just today. In fact, even if it's already started, you can benefit by using our sponsor, Shopify. I have a business. It's a website that does like different things, and we have fans of the website that want merch. And so we tried different ways of selling merch and finally landed on Shopify. And boy, howdy, that's the place we're going to stay. Because it just works so well. We can sell anything to anyone, anywhere, right? And they have integrations with Printify. We're doing a lot of this with merch, and so we can integrate with Printify to use all of their vendors to make the merch, and then Shopify lets us sell it worldwide, and they just make it so easy. We don't even think about it anymore. The sales just come in. And I can't imagine a life without Shopify. I can, unfortunately, imagine a life before Shopify because I remember those days. It wasn't that long ago. But you've used Shopify too, right, Shannon?
I have a bunch of times. I love I became an entrepreneur to take control of my life, and Shopify allows you to really control your inventory. You own the customer, your inventory, you're distributing it. Spreading out on other marketplaces is great, but being ultimately in control of your own destiny is a really important part of the equation for success.
Yeah, it's amazing. And you can upgrade your business and get the same checkout that we use with Shopify. And that's the sound that we hear every time a sale is made. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/businessbrain, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/businessbrain to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/businessbrain. We'll do that twice. And our thanks to Shopify for sponsoring this episode. Shannon, I was on X. Do you know about the X platform, Shannon? I know you've never mentioned it on the show.
Yeah, never. On this show, this episode?
No, you mentioned it, I think. Oh, no, maybe not.
No, I don't think so. That might have been the first. You forced me.
Yep. So I found a post by Michael Girdley, who has a big following out there. And this was his 11 tells of successful people. Yeah. And I wanted to go through some, maybe all of these, and just dissect them a little bit, which is something we haven't done for a while. The first tell on the list is very important and relevant for what we're doing as we're telling you about this, and that is clarity of speech. Can people speak succinctly and clearly? Do they choose words carefully? This is one of his tells of successful people.
Yeah, I think it's also it's a thought process too, right? That allows you to put the right words together and focus. And when you're speaking to someone, you can tell that they've done the research and they know what they're talking about, and not in a cocky way, but in a just a clear, like he says, clear and concise. And they, like you always say, oh, that guy knows what he's talking about.
Yeah,
that
kind of sounds like he knows what he's talking about.
Yes, exactly. The one I thought was interesting, the next one was this, they're two marshmallow thinkers, which is, I guess, a Stanford experiment where you'd wait, but it's all about, are they willing to be patient for a big payoff? And, I tell this to everybody, my coaching clients. I say, hey, listen, this is a 12 to 18, 24-month process here. It's not going to happen overnight. You got to learn these systems. You need to go. I mean, we've been doing this show for 10 years. We didn't have a sponsor for the first 2 years, right?
Yeah, probably, right?
And I think about, and new podcasters always ask me, how do you get sponsors? It's like, well, you create great content, which then creates great audiences, which then leads sponsors to want to put their name on your show. So spending the time, being patient, and understanding that all good things take time to build.
Yep, I like it. The third one might be my favorite one on this list. Cheap cars. They don't spend much on a car relative to their net worth. I have watched the price of my automobiles go down as my net worth has gone up.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I've owned BMWs before. The only reason I bought a BMW was because I was pissed that Volvo ruined when Ford bought Volvo. They ruined the car that I liked, and that car I had bought because I did work for the sales manager of a Volvo dealership, so I got a house deal on that one.
Nice.
So I wound up kind of going up this ladder that I didn't ever intend to go up. And don't get me wrong, I drove 2 BMWs and loved them, and now we drive all Subarus in our house, and I love those vehicles. They are
great. Yeah.
My Subaru Outback is my favorite car that I've ever owned. And
That's
I said, I owned 2 BMWs before that. So
Subaru has a really loyal following. I mean, we're kind of similar. We always typically have one, quote, company car that's maybe a little nicer, maybe a little newer, but like our company car now is a Jeep Grand Cherokee, and then I drive a Dodge pickup truck, so it's super useful. They're tools. I love it. And, yes, I like some luxuries, but,
the good news now is you can get luxuries,
of course,
the luxury features in cars that are not luxury vehicles.
You got it. Yeah. Michael's next one is they're introspective by nature. Do they think about what went wrong and what they'd have done differently? Man, that's powerful. That's the post-mortem, right? I think we even did a show on, how to put together a post-mortem, and it's very true. Are you stopping to think, we always say mistakes are tuition. right there. What mistakes or what are they teaching you? How do you adjust? The key is to get started and then learn from those mistakes as you go along.
That's it. Yeah. And then the next one might be, if I had to predict a favorite for you prior to having this discussion, it would be this next one, which is bias to action. Do these people naturally want to start solving problems as soon as possible? Not thinking about solutions. That's not what he said. Start solving, action verbs. Yep.
I love it. Yeah. Man.
Yep.
Do it. Start it. Figure it out.
Figure it out. But you got to start.
Yep.
I can look back so many times in my career and just my life in general, and I can say the hardest part of most things that I've done has been starting.
It is tough.
For me, it is. I know, and I suffer from procrastination and all those things. And, analysis paralysis is my best friend, except it's not. But it seems it hangs around like it's my best friend.
Mine is the hardest part for me is maintenance. I'm terrible at maintenance. I'm good at starting, but I always have to get people to help me when you get to a certain point and maintain it maintenance, because I get bored and then I'm not good. I am the next thing that Gridley says, super responsive. Do they respond quickly to emails, texts, and phone calls? I love it. I'm on it. It spurs other people to be responsive and action. Let's make a decision right now, and let's get back to this and figure it out. Like, we had a little glitch in our ad before, and we just boom, let's just fix it right now, and then we'll get it going. And now it's on. We're on to the next play. We're always thinking of the next play.
We moved on. Yeah, I find I am more efficient when I am super responsive. If I see your text or your email, or if I see the phone ringing, if I have then taken a minute to think about this thing that I would previously have said, I don't have time to deal with that right now. Well, now my head's in it. Yeah. So I might as well take advantage of that and respond to you. And now it's done. I don't have to come back to it. I can go back to the thing that I wanted to get back to.
And taking up less mind share. And it's not in your head thinking, I got to get back to that person. You got to offload this stuff and move on.
Yeah. Yeah. The next one is make hard things look easy and make easy things look simple. He says you see them do stuff and you're like, wow, I thought that'd be harder. I say that about myself. Wow, I thought that would be harder to do. I don't believe the perception that these things are difficult. Some things are, and you will be correct, but that's okay. Then you're correct. Yeah. Prove yourself wrong.
As you improve your skill set by solving smaller problems, what you'll find is you're stacking up that problem-solving skills where you just apply them in succession. You don't even realize it, and you start solving bigger problems, and you just knock them down. It comes with time. Intellectual honesty. Can they quickly see things from other people's perspective and understand their motivations? That can be tough. I think that can be tough. And I'd like to think that I have this. I think as I've gotten older, I also think it comes with empathy, being empathetic to other perspectives and how things look. But I will freely admit it took me some time to get to that point. Certainly. It wasn't when I was a young guy.
I don't think this is a binary thing. I say that because I want to give myself permission to fail at this sometimes, because I know that I do, and I know that I will in the future. But I think the important part is that you work to be intellectually honest, not that you always are able to be intellectually honest. Yeah. Right? You work to it, you understand, and maintain that self-awareness so that you know when you have, and more importantly, when you have not been able to attain that intellectual honesty. And it's okay, I'll do better next time. I'm aware of where I went wrong here. I think that's
I like it. I like it. Yeah. Just got a few more here. What's next, Dave?
Game selection. Do they want to focus efforts where they have an advantage over competitors? Yeah,
I love that.
Absolutely.
Dude. What is your unfair advantage? We've done shows about this. It could be anything: finance, your warehouse space, your work ethic, your connections, who you know, some bit of expertise that you've got about the market. Focus on what that unfair advantage is.
What you have. Yeah.
I love it. The number 10, but not last, want to be compensated for contribution. Do they want the upside aligned with their value to a cause? Man, we've done shows about like folks that want to be a partner, and the first thing they talk about is getting a salary. And we were like, wait, we've got to build this revenue stream first before anybody gets paid.
Yeah,
and
can't pay you when there's nothing coming in.
That's an employee. So you may need employees, certainly, but if you're going to be involved in building something, your upside has to be aligned with the upside of the thing you are creating, for sure.
That might be that. I said earlier that cheap cars might be my favorite one on the list. That one, want to be compensated for content. That's my favorite one because it's a perfect tell of whether if someone doesn't have this, it's like, oh, okay, wait a minute.
I'm going to raise my hands again because we just hit 602 streamers. So that's going to be the new
bar.
thing. That's my tell right there. New bar. Yeah. And what's the last one, Dave?
Unfailing self-belief and optimism. Do they think they'll eventually win no matter how tough today might be?
Dang,
absolutely.
That is it. You having that concept of, getting you are going to win. This is going to happen. You probably won't win in the exact method you think you are.
If you do, tell us, because you're a unicorn.
Yeah, but I actually think it's great to build in that flexibility of, I published a book by starting a software company, right? So, and it was a huge success, but the software company wasn't. The book was a success. The software company crashed and burned. But I learned so much and I created all this content that I was like, oh, well, now I've got content. It's not as hard to write a book as I thought. So, unfailing self-belief, man, that is, and taming your inner judge that is telling you it won't work. You keep focusing on that. You get to be the hero in your story and you get to create it and live the way you want, for sure. That's my favorite.
I have to bring up something because I knew you and we talked privately as you were starting and attempting to make this software company work, and then eventually as it failed. And what I love is your story is correct, but you say that your software company crashed and burned. Now, that tells the story of, oh, I had this awful failure and then I had this great book that came out of it. It's an exaggeration. I know that this is an exaggeration.
It's hyperbole.
But it's hyperbole. But like, that's an important way. Like, I think that's a good thing that you described this as, that crashed and burned. Yeah.
I frame it I also think that when I tell that story, you tell stories, if you just tell the wins all the time, that's cool. People like to hear that. But when you tell that, man, I've failed at, like, oh yeah, I started 10 companies, but I probably failed at 20, that connects you with people on a deeper level, because we've all failed and all have tried. And, I want to be the hero in my story. I am. And so I get to make the rules and say that. And that's the story I want to tell when I sit around the campfire. I have lived my life in reverse by thinking of what story do I want to tell 20, 30 years ago? What is acceptable to tell and what is not? And overcoming failure is one of the biggest stories that I tell over and over and over again.
Yep. No, sure. I love it. I just wanted to highlight that example for people because it's a great one. You can be very efficient about it and just say, yeah, we crashed and burned, and then this great thing came out of it.
Yeah,
then move on. Yep.
That's awesome. That's a great topic. I'm going to reach out to Michael and tell him we featured this on the show and break it down. He's a great guy, super inspirational, funny guy. One of his biggest businesses, fireworks. You may not have known that, but Alamo Fireworks is his baby, and they do like 90% of their business in 48 hours every year, or something like that. Yeah, that's awesome. That was fun. That was a great show.
Yeah, fun stuff. Thanks for hanging out with us, folks. Feedback at businessbrain.show. If you've got any comments or thoughts on what we talked about here, or if you've got a story to tell, let us know. Maybe it's something you can come on the show. Maybe we'll tell it on the show. Maybe both. Have a great weekend and keep on living that charmed life.
All right.
We're out. Sweet.
Smile, Dave. I want to take a screenshot of 612.
Hang on. Let me get the thing out of the way. All right. There you go.
Oh, okay. That's okay.
We'll put our names back in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's great. Awesome. That's really cool. That's fun. We got to make sure we do one of these lists every once in a while again. I'm glad you remember because it's useful.
It is, and it's a great, I mean, and I know we're still live here. It's a really easy discussion to have because somebody else did the work of preparing the list. We just have to react to it.
That's what I like about it, that it's not always us.
But it's not our ideas.
Correct.
Right.
And that's great. We're just sharing his stuff. So I'll make sure to put that back on my radar to add some of those to our show ideas and stuff so. Folks,
I mean, when I was pulling them out years ago, they all came from Twitter/X. Like before you were even I know you were on X, but
but not
like that. That's where I've always mined these things from. They come.
Perfect.
There's always great stuff. Yeah,
it's awesome.
Absolutely.
Folks, thank you for joining us. 619 people viewing the stream. I can say that. It's not.
I'd really like. It's interesting to me because I see no comments coming in on this.
Nope. It's hard to leave a comment on the stream.
That's fair.
The live stream. It's not easy. It doesn't show up like in the regular comments on the post. They have to do something else. There's another little thing they have to click into. So I don't know if that's the reason, but
I don't know. But if they're watching, the chat's right there, and I'm seeing nothing coming in. So what I'm curious about, because listener numbers are great, viewer numbers are great, engagement numbers are like, that's to me the gold. And what I'm curious of is, if I start watching this, the number goes up. If I stop watching it, does the number go down?
Good question.
Right? Because that's
a big deal.
That's to me, that's the difference, right?
Because it's not, like I said, it's not the regular comments, because otherwise my comment that I made at the beginning of the show would show up in our comments. Right.
No, it's just comments in the live thing. But I looked at all three of them, yours, mine, and the one for the show. And the chat's there, but there's no activity in it, and we would have seen that activity. So
I just posted it instantly. Yeah, okay. So they have to click into the chat. Yeah.
Correct.
So I think what we need to do is when we get people rolling in, we need to mention that a few times during the show. If you have questions you want to ask, click into the broadcast, and then the chat bar will come up on the right-hand side of if you're on the web. I don't know what it does if you're in mobile. Let me take a look real quick.
That's a good question.
Yeah, because most people will obviously be on mobile. So if they click into this live stream,
you know what?
Live chat. Yep.
I know for sure that.
Yep. Okay.
I know for sure that no one that if you leave, the number doesn't go down, because I've been doing this for a long time, and I've never seen the number go down.
Yeah. I think that could be. They probably just queue everyone that comes in. Pop, 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 pop. Yeah. That makes sense. Well, we'll mention this next time in the show and see if we can get some people hitting some questions and that kind of thing. Because you're right.
I wonder how long somebody has to watch for that number to count too. Because a podcast download doesn't count unless they get a full minute's worth of the audio.
Oh, good idea.
Which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, sure.
This, I don't know.
There could be 35 instead of 635, which
is probably more correct. I mean,
but I'm using the larger number because that's how I think. So
of course.
Yes. Awesome. That's great. Great show, folks. I'm going to end the stream now.
Sweet.
Take care.